So my goal in the program was to lose about 12 pounds, and I lost closer to 15. And my goal was to go from 17.7% body fat down to about 11 and 12. And I actually dropped to about 8.
Okay, guys, it's Dr. Ryan, and today we're going to talk with a patient of mine, Jason, who's been a patient of the clinic for several months, a little more than 6, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his experience with Summa Up.
Sure. So I'm from California, and I currently live in Atlanta. I love to read fantasy, love to be active, and I love to eat, and I travel. And in fact, I travel the country and the world seeking out great food. And I've been in tech for pretty much my whole career.
Very cool. Very cool. So what exactly was it like for you before you started with the clinic? What were some of the goals that you were trying to accomplish in terms of your physique and overall health?
One is I wanted to lose some weight. I had put on some weight during the pandemic. I'm very active, and I was running and I was lifting weights. And unfortunately, the weight was just stuck and it wouldn't go away. I did my body fat percentage, and I think I was at 17.7. And I really wanted to bring that down. And I also wanted to just have a little bit higher energy. And I'm in my 40s. Your body really starts to change. And I wanted to be when I was in the gym, I wanted to be able to recover more quickly as well.
Yeah, and these are things that I see with a lot of prospective patients. The fact that what used to work with them quite well actually stopped working, particularly as they got older, or the amount of effort they had to put in was just getting more and more, with the results being less and less. And you're a little bit different than the typical patient in that you know your way around the gym and you're quite active prior, but I guess you were just noticing that there's a drop overall. What were some of the things that were blocking you in terms of accomplishing these goals?
Things that used to work didn't work anymore. So I work out with the personal trainer. I was trying to eat very healthy, and then I've always been active. So you would think, okay, this may not be a problem. As you get older, things really do change. Not to mention that food system in the United States is just not the greatest. And so I think part of the problem was that I didn't know what was blocking me. I was putting in the work, I was putting in the time and the effort, and I felt like I was being disciplined. I even had a chef who was doing meal prep for me, who was making a mostly pescatarian diet with a lot of vegetables. And so I really didn't know what was blocking me. And that's when I reached out, and we can talk about that, but I've been very happy with the results.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a second, and I'm very happy to hear that. But another thing that you had mentioned is, and this is something that I do see occasionally with patients, you were a fit guy when you came to me, as I mentioned, very athletic, but you had a little bit of trouble controlling your lipid panel. And what's frustrating is, as you mentioned, you were eating healthy, right? And I was like, what is going on? And so that was something that I remember that you addressed, and something that we really sought to turn around. I know that these roadblocks were getting more and more frustrating for you, but was there like an inciting event that made you say, okay, I need to start looking for someone, and Dr. Ryan's the person that I need to start working with?
I don't know if there was an event. It's more of, so when I was younger, if I ever fell off and I needed to get back in shape, it would take me about 3 weeks, right? Weight would drop, be great. Just 3 weeks of concerted effort. And I really been trying for over a year, and working out with the trainer, except running, doing all this stuff. And if you say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And so when it just became apparent that as I tried new things, it wasn't working, I've always believed in getting expert help. When I just said, okay, I've been trying this for a year, it's not working. And not that it wasn't working, like I'd gotten stronger. I was certainly in better shape than I had gotten in because of the pandemic. But like I said, the weight wasn't dropping. And I think I started running and the weight dropped, and then it came right back. And I was like, okay, I think I need to get some help.
Okay. So you came to that realization, and that's really good. You're like, okay, you did some introspection. You're like, I need to look outside myself. I've been able to do it on my own, but I need an expert opinion. So how did you find out about myself and Summa Up?
Truthfully, just Google. I was looking at a few other things Oh, and there was one thing. Sorry, there was one thing that happened that I totally forgot. My trainer actually, who's already in great shape, right? He's already 6% body fat or 7% body fat, and 10 years younger too. He worked with the functional medicine doctor. And it was funny because he was balding. And I saw over the course of a few months, he got all of his hair back. And he even got more lean. So maybe he was at 8% before, I don't know, but he's 6 solidly now. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me try this.
Okay. And I'm glad that your trainer moved you in that direction. I'm glad that you found about us on Google. But there are many providers out there and there are many clinics out there. What finally made you say, okay, I'm going to work with this guy?
Yeah, I think it was a few things. One, it looked like you were really in great shape, and it looked like you were taking your own advice, right? Because sometimes you talk to folks and they're like, yes, we can teach you all about your health, but they themselves look really unhealthy. So that was the first thing. And then honestly, it was the videos. Unless this guy just paid a bunch of actors, a lot of actors, he seems to be getting some results.
That, from my standpoint, I just recognized that whenever I was evaluating items online, the first thing I looked at before I got the referral was the reviews, right? And so, that's why I kind of thought to myself, well, hey, if patients are doing well, let's put those up there. And I'm glad that you saw the value in that. Very good. And it's not necessary for a physician to eat their own cooking, but it's always good when they do. Okay. So after joining the program, what are some of the changes you noticed in terms of your physique and overall health?
So my goal in the program was to lose about 12 pounds, and I lost closer to 15. And my goal was to go from 17.7% body fat down to about 11 and 12. And I actually dropped to about 8, depending on the day, even lower. But consistently below 10% body fat. My abs pop a lot more than they used to. I'm the strongest that I've ever been. So the first time in my life, I'm able to do weighted pull-ups, which has been really cool. Yeah, I'm stronger, more energetic, and recover faster. And I look better. And I look better in my clothes.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a second just to brag on you, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. And as you can see over here, you saw a nice drop. I want to make sure that this is clear. You were pretty athletic from the start. So much of this was body fat, not muscle mass, right?
Yeah.
And that's demonstrated through your pictures. And you started, which again, not in bad shape. You certainly had some body fat, and everyone does in their lower back. And then you just got super shredded. This is just ridiculous. Like your abs are very prominent. And your back is just much, much more defined. It seems like you've gotten rid of practically all of your lower back fat.
Yeah, I've been very happy.
The other thing that I thought was pretty cool was, and a lot of people don't recognize this, as I mentioned, you're a pretty healthy individual, but you were trying to really turn around your cholesterol, right? And what was cool is that we were able to make some crazy changes in that, as well as improve your insulin sensitivity. And everyone thinks, oh, it's usually the person who's 30 or 40 pounds overweight that's going to have issues with that. But in your case, it can happen to many people, but through dietary changes, supplementation, and optimization of your profiles, you can make dramatic changes. And I was really proud and excited to see that.
Yeah, no, I think two things, right? So I'm very happy that we worked together, because my cholesterol was elevated. My blood sugar was also elevated. And it was the kind of thing where my primary doctor really wasn't being terribly helpful. They give the same kind of state advice. But the diet that you provided, along with the supplements, they dropped my blood sugar to optimal levels. And even my LDL, as of the last reading, I want to say it dropped by maybe almost 40%. That has been really great to see.
Yeah, no statin. It is quite controversial whether or not statins are good or bad, but in my mind, there's a lot of side effects associated with them. And if you can reduce your lipid panel dramatically through diet and exercise and supplementation, why not do that?
Yeah.
And you certainly did it, which is pretty amazing. So you noticed these changes personally, but what are some of the changes that your family and your colleagues saw in you?
Yeah, and so what I would say is both folks who know me and even people who don't know me have noticed changes. My family, friends have definitely commented on how fit I look. And now, at least several times a week, I get compliments from strangers, just whether it's in yoga class or just in the elevator in my building. Folks will just randomly comment on how fit I look or some variation of that. And so that was an unexpected positive side effect. And it does not hurt the confidence at all.
I understand that aesthetics may not be the most important thing for individuals, but it is an important thing. And your self-image certainly is dictated by how others view you. And if they view you more positively, that's wonderful.
And I think it's not just aesthetics, right? It's strength, overall health, and aesthetics.
Yeah.
So I think putting all that together it's a really amazing combination. You look good, you feel good, and your heart is healthier and you're not going to get diabetes.
You have the energy levels, you have the aesthetics, and you have the confidence that you're not going to necessarily succumb to diabetes, heart disease, stroke, dementia. And these are all things that with the right provider and with the right clinic, you can totally achieve. Were there any other benefits that you felt arose from working with myself and Summa Up?
And I'd say my libido increased. So that's always nice. So yeah, but I think those are the main ones. And for me, more than enough, right? Increased health, strength, energy, libido, and looking better, feeling better.
I know this is a cliche term that's thrown around a lot. As you get older and as you progress in your career and your business, you recognize that health is such an important component, right? Yeah, it's great to have a great monthly recurring revenue or top line, but if you don't have health, you really don't have wealth in that regard because you can't enjoy it or can't utilize it or you can't grow.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad that you recognize that. Okay. What would you tell someone who is watching this video now and is uncertain about joining the program? What would you tell that individual?
Yeah, I would say it's an investment and you have to decide whether or not, the time is right for you to make that investment in yourself. For me, I made the investment. I was very happy with the results, but it was an investment, and not just in terms of the dollars, but the fact is nothing in life is free. And so if you want to see results, you have to work for it. For instance, Dr. Ryan provided a diet plan that has worked really well for me, but you also have to use it. And there's a workout plan. You have to work out. And so I think it's very doable. I don't think anything is crazy in there, but it does take work. And so I think I would say it works. I've gotten great results. Other people have gotten great results, and you have to work. So I think it's also important just to be honest with yourself and where you are and decide, okay, is this the time for me to do this? If yes, then know that it is working. It's working for a lot of people. But if no, then, then you have your answer too.
Yeah, I think everyone's at a different season of their life. And as you mentioned, if you're in a season where you recognize this is a priority and you recognize, as you mentioned, everything in life's an investment, how we spend our time and our finances dictates a lot of ramifications to how our life will unfold. I'm glad that you recognize that this was a good choice, good investment of both of those. Okay, Jason, I want to thank you for telling us a little bit about your story. And I also want to thank you for being a patient of the clinic. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. And thank you for your help.